Welcome to the Resiliency Podcast. I'm your host, Todd Miner, and along with me is my wife, Mia Miner. Hi, Mia. How are you?
Uh,
All right. We want to thank everybody for being with us tonight. Why are we coming together? We realize the need to foster resiliency in our community, emphasizing families that support our young people and parents, who are the true strength of our community. We also want to discuss ways to build resiliency in the face of daily challenges we and our families face, and also discuss available resources that may be available to help in the community. Mia, do you want to go over?
Background of the Matthew Minor Awareness Foundation. Todd and Mia Minor are the co-founders and advocates for online child safety. Todd and I lost our son, 12-year-old son, Matthew, the foundation namesake to these online challenges. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization created in 2019, and are committed to bringing awareness about cyberbullying and the knockout challenge, as well as the blackout challenge. Um, we're inspired to provide help to families coping with grief and loss of their loved ones unexpectedly. They have a we have also established a national scholarship fund for our college bound students to further their future education goals. Numerous scholarships have been awarded to graduating high school seniors, and we are based in Accokeek, Maryland.
Yeah, thank you, Mia.
You're
Uh,
welcome.
for us, it's a campaign born from the deepest loss, driven by the love and memory of a young boy who always worked hard to protect others. So we're going to go into our updates now. This was June 3rd. We went to the Can't Look Away. I think we lost Mia. We'll get her back, I guess. She'll be able to join back in a second. We were honored to attend the screening of the Bloomberg's highly acclaimed documentary, Can't Look Away. And his documentary is Can't Look Away, the case against social media. It was excellent. We actually enjoyed the screening of that because, I think it was well done. I really do. And then also the panel discussion was really good. What did you think, Mia?
It was an awesome panel discussion. Miss Jeannie DeZero and Amy
Amy,
Neville.
Neville, and Mary
And
Rose, I think, is in the movie too. I don't know if she was actually in the panel right at that time, but yeah. So it's really good. So I'll just keep going. I think we lost Mia again. Maybe we're having network issues here, but
I apologize. My for some reason my keeps cutting me out, but they
okay.
did a very good.
Yeah, we'll just keep going. And so on June 4th, we were honored to receive a memorial yearbook from the principal and staff of Accokeek Academy. We're incredibly grateful to Dr. Adams and the fantastic team at Accokeek Academy for sharing with us a tribute yearbook for the year Matt. It was a memorial to Matt in that yearbook. Matthew really enjoyed his time at Accokeek Academy, and we just want to thank the staff there, and they just continue to inspire us for the future. So thank you so very much for that.
Thank you.
Mia, I think we got that in the mail, right? Or did you go pick it?
When I went to the school to talk to Dr. Adams about the
About some
Know
the
to
other
Know to
community?
Protect presentation, which we're trying to work.
Okay, yeah. So she went there, and as she was talking about some other community engagements we were looking to do with the academy, they gave us that yearbook. So we'll just keep things going for the sake of time. So on June 5th, we did a Capitol Hill visit. As most of our followers know, we continue to advocate for COSA and parental tools to ensure online child safety at both the state and federal levels. Congress is on the verge of banning states from passing or enforcing bills to regulate AI for the next 10 years. We heard they might drop that down to 5 years, but as best I think they're voting now. I did this slide up a couple of days ago, but I think today they're voting on it. But at the time we were working to do a call to action, but I think now at this point we can let our elected officials know that we're not, we don't like that they passed a bill that regulates states' laws against the AI and those type of things. Really, states should be allowed to pass the laws that they deem fit for their particular states and and for their people. But we've seen this. We've seen what happens when big tech is allowed to regulate itself. And we'll talk a little bit more about this: the addictive design, mental health crisis, far too many children experiencing serious issues and even deadly harms. So let's continue to take action and let our elected officials know that we're not happy with that. Oh yes, Mia, this is all about the Impact Awards. When we, as Mia stated earlier, we have a nationwide scholarship that we award each year, and we received a couple submissions there that really touched our heart. They talked about how they were working to keep kids like Matthew's memory alive in the community and what they want to do after they get out of school and things. So me and we decided to create our Foundation Impact Award, and this past June we awarded 2 Impact Awards. This award was created to encourage youth and recognize community leaders, so youth community leaders who set a strong example for others. And recently, those 2 awards were awarded to Olivia Coles and Dana Clark. And we have a couple pictures there that we were fortunate enough to go to their graduation parties and be able to give them. We gave them.
Presented their award.
Yeah, we gave them a cash award. So what the award included was a cash award, and they also got a certificate, a framed certificate for them. Just to continue to encourage them. And I think that's what we really see ourselves doing, is continue to educate parents and families and just community, but also encourage young people for digital literacy, and also to just continue to keep that awareness going, because the next generation is going to, we realize we're not going to be able to do all these things forever. So the young people have to pick up the mantle and keep things going.
Yes, so congratulations.
Anything you wanted to say on that, Mia?
Just congratulations to the awardees, Olivia Coles and Dana Clark. Okay. So,
no, thank you so much, Mia. I want to kind of keep us going, and plus, I really wanted to talk about this retreat. We went on a advocate retreat. I think we were in Arley, Virginia. Airlie. I might have misspelled that. I think it's Airlie, Virginia. Yeah, it's a retreat out there. And I call everybody that all our survivor parents that we have now, and all the and their families and everything. We call them our extended family now. And also our community partners. That's all the other nonprofits that's working in this space, all the supporters and everything. So during that time, it was relaxing, but we also received inspiring messages from other leaders in the space. If they couldn't be there in person, they they gave us recorded messages that they played there in front of the group, which was nice. We also received feedback from leaders in that space, like maybe adjusting our message and making sure that we are staying fresh as best we can, and just making sure that are helping us to realize making sure our messages are hopefully reaching the right audience and everything. Also, I think Mia's back now, and we also were able to recharge and reconnect, which was much needed for our continued work ahead. So just a little bit about this. A lot of times we're even though you may see where we're on Facebook, where we post that we're on Capitol Hill, there's a lot of times where we don't post that. We might run up there and take care of a couple items, and then we're back to our day job, whatever it is we're doing or whatever we're doing throughout the day. So, kind of the back and forth and just being, trying to be responsive at a moment's notice, that can wear you down. So, just many blessings to everybody in the space, and we look forward to seeing you guys again as we continue our work. Mia, do you have anything you wanted to say about the retreat?
The retreat was a very good learning experience. We learned a lot from the retreat, and it was a great time spent with families who lost their loved ones, and it was a good experience, an environment to be in.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for that, Mia. And I think as you do stuff, you gotta, of course, work hard, but you have to learn to also, I don't want to say play hard, but at least be able to relax and recharge.
And we had some great speakers there as well.
Yeah,
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 Miss Kelly was one. She was our first speaker, and we learned a lot about how to manage our working with groups within our advocacy.
yeah, kind of grow. Yeah, they
How to
discussed
grow it. Yeah,
how to grow our foundation,
right.
and just
And the
different things
shepherds,
to look
they
for.
were
Yeah,
very good. From Matthew Shepherd.
Matthew Shepard
Yeah,
Foundation.
yeah. That
Yeah.
was
So, and then just also realizing that it's not just like, even for us, when we first started the foundation, we thought it was just us until we got connected with other parent survivors and Fair Play and Parents Together and other advocates in this space. And then we realized we weren't the only ones fighting the fight, fighting to educate, fighting to, because as you educate individuals, you can stop a lot of these harms and stuff from actually taking lives of children by
right.
pure education and awareness. So that's why our foundation has that name, awareness, because that's our big thing that we've been doing. Just, we go to the Starbucks and we hand out flyers, and we sell T-shirts and items and pins and things like that. But if you're wearing that, then people ask what that pin is all about, and that starts the conversation on what happened, why we're here, and those kind of things. So, I think that's something that all of us can do, and that doesn't cost us anything but a nice conversation. How are you? Are you aware about the dangers of social media? If not, a couple items, maybe give them websites and even the book that our guest has written, things like that, which we'll introduce him shortly. But things like that will also just, individuals can gain awareness over time, and then each one can teach one. So, June 23rd, we had the Social Media Victims Remembrance Day. That was in Upper Senate Park. That was hard. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything, and I don't want our followers to think that we're always everything is just comes easy for us. It was a hard day. I honestly I didn't feel like going because of what it represented, having to remember, even though we never forget that Matthew's not with us, but just the potential of having to talk again about that, and maybe reliving that and being able to just go through the worst, some of the worst moments of our life. But one thing I did like about this, I mean, really, I liked the whole thing because we had speakers, but there was a piece that stuck out with me as we had kind of a candlelight vigil at a certain point, and all the parents kind of we sat around in a circle, and then we all were able to share the good things about our kids and our loved ones that we lost. So to me, that's one of the big things. But earlier on, we did have speakers such as Senator Blackburn and Blumenthal and Senator Klobuchar and others, Congresswoman Castor and others that got up and spoke. We also had other survivor parents and also young people that lost their siblings, which it was good to hear from them, from their perspective, what it was like to lose your brother, sister, or someone, a sibling. Because even we're parents, but a lot of time, I mean, and we speak from a parent standpoint, but it's good to have those siblings be able to speak about what they lost, that big brother, that sister, that cousin, that someone that was right at their same age, and it gives you a more full perspective on the loss. When you lose somebody like that, it's a whole family, a whole community is devastated. So either way, we love and miss you, Big Matt. It hurt, but it also reinforced that we weren't by ourselves in grieving Matthew and grieving all the young people and families that have been affected by social media harms on social media. So
I unfortunately couldn't be there, but
yeah, that's okay, Mia. The foundation was represented. And so here, do you want to talk a little bit about the Keep It Digitally Safe scholarship?
Keep It Digitally Safe. They just had the global warning.
Yeah, it's a campaign. Yeah, it's a campaign for social.
Right now on Father's Day, but now they have the Win a Scholarship with Keep It Digitally Safe campaign, went up to 5,000. Do you have a bold idea for social media warning labels? This is your chance to turn creativity into action and earn a scholarship while you're at it. How to enter: create a powerful warning label design, submit it to the keepitdigitallysafe.org, and complete the form and upload your work. You could win 5,000, 3,000, and 2,000, or 2,000. Excuse me, $2,000. And
yeah, yeah. Oh, go ahead. I was just going to say that me and I, we discussed this, and we really like this campaign because it allows the youth and young people to actually be a part of keeping other kids safe online. They could be part of the solution. So this is really driven by the young people. So this is your opportunity. So take a look. Go ahead and submit your artwork. And I think even if it's kind of like a more of an idea sketch, I don't think it has to be the most perfect artwork, but I think the point is to get what it is that how you would want either a commercial or a design or something like that to look, because it could be video. I think it could be video or artwork. So just stay open to that. Also, there's three cash prizes at stake. So that's good cash that you could use toward furthering your education goals. So did you have anything else you wanted to say on that, Mia, before we?
Just get your warning label in, and win a scholarship. That'd be wonderful.
Yeah. So we always discuss this. What is resiliency? Resiliency is the capacity to withstand or to recover quickly from difficulties, toughness, the ability of a substance or object to spring back into shape, elasticity. While in the ring we call life, we may get knocked down, but you are able to get back up. So with that, we want to introduce our guest speaker. And our guest speaker tonight is Richard Freed, psychologist and author. Richard Freed, PhD, is a psychologist and author of the recently released book, Better Than Real Life. And his insights have been featured in the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, and other media outlets. Dr. Freed has devoted his career to revealing that Silicon Valley is using a secret science to addict children to screens, pulling them away from the real world to exist on social media, video games, and online videos. He is determined to bring knowledge of this hidden and powerful science, which now exists among select few elites, to all those who care for children. Sorry, this little piece is kind of blocked here. To children, this I think it's that secret science-based. I'm sorry, I couldn't read that part. The secret science-based childhood, focused around family, school, and the outdoors, must be made available to all youth. Freed lives in Walnut Creek, California. With that, I want to bring Dr. Freed in. Give me 1 second, please. Hi, Dr. Freed. How are you, sir?
Hi, Todd, and hi, Mia. I'm doing well. I'm so impressed by the work that you're doing. Thank you for everything that you're doing on behalf of Matthew and for kids around the nation and the world. Your work is so important.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I didn't know if you had anything how you wanted to start. I think we have a couple questions we usually ask, but would you mind giving us an overview of your work and what you're doing in the space right now, please?
Sure. My day job, I'm a clinical psychologist in practice. So I work with children and families every day who are struggling with not to the extent that you have. And I'm so touched by the messaging that to hear from you. I'm sorry for the loss of Matthew. And there are other families who are on a day-to-day basis losing their kids to social media, video games, online videos. They're leaving behind the real world that they need, family, school, the outdoors, to go disappear to a back room to live on a device. And my job is to explain why that's happening. It's not parents' fault. It's not the kids' fault. Yeah. There is a secret science called persuasive design that I didn't really know about until 2018, until I really went down this rabbit hole to say, somebody asked me, put together a talk for kids to help them sort of understand what's on devices that can hook them. And I'm like, okay. And so that started me down this rabbit hole, and I just started pulling on strings. And I found that there is this extraordinarily powerful science hidden behind these shiny screens that we give our kids that we say are entertainment. And they're not. They are a psychological conditioning chamber designed to make them feel like that's where they're supposed to spend their lives, and leave. And they're, they don't know this, but they leave the things that they need to be happy and healthy, family, school, the outdoors, to go live on this device. And then unfortunately, so it does two things. It pulls them away from their family, and then it exposes them to really harmful content, like your son experienced, the choking challenge. Like, it's an environment that's set up to make money off of kids rather than to take care of them.
Yeah. Wow. And I wanted to ask, you've been in this space for a while, correct? I mean, as far as experience, I guess maybe I didn't really. And just so our audience knows, we met Richard at a conference. We were at a workshop, in Boston a couple months ago, and it was just so intriguing just hearing you talk about this persuasive design. And so how did you get into this space, and what if you could kind of give some background, because to be honest, I never heard of persuasive design, and I would imagine that's why your book is so wonderful and so illuminating, because it's like you never heard it, we didn't know, and then kind of at this point, from a parent standpoint, I feel like I'm kind of I've been behind it on the eight ball from the beginning.
No, no, like you guys are such good involved parents. Firstly, Silicon Valley works really hard to keep this quiet and secret. They don't want to tell the public, we are here to manipulate your kids. We're here to develop screens that your kid feels not just that are more entertaining than real life, but down deep in their soul, in their DNA, that this is what I should be doing rather than spending time with my family. I should be on this phone in a back room rather than, hanging out with my mom or dad or running around outside. So essentially nobody really knows about this except for, like, I'm talking a handful of people at the very top of industry. When I go talk to at conferences with healthcare providers, with pediatricians and mental health professionals, I'll say, who here knows about or what persuasive design is, or have ever heard of it? Not a single hand will go up. Like, it is secret. I feel like that's a lot of my job. That's what I would like to do, is to bring knowledge of this hidden secret science to help families understand that what we're handing kids is not just a little, is pop culture will say, oh, it's a little fun thing for your kid to be on. Like, no, behind it, there's rooms filled with scientists using artificial intelligence to hook kids and to make sure that kids are on a screen and they don't walk away.
Wow. And I guess, how did you get into this space, doctor? I mean, it just seems so specialized. Not like I haven't. I don't know. Is there a job just open for something like that, or is it just kind of just because of your expertise they sought you out? Or
that's a really good question, and I think what happened, or I know what happened, is I've been in clinical practice for more than 25 years. So I've watched childhood and adolescence change. I've watched young people leave behind their families. I've watched families fall apart. I've watched, and boys, it goes a lot by gender. Boys really will disappear from an effort in school, or girls will really disappear from their family to live on social media, boys on video games. And I watch that happen just about every day in my practice. So I'm a clinician, a generalist. I'm working with families, but so many of the families that are coming to me, like, they'll say, like, my kid's failing in school. Okay, that's the symptom, but the cause of it is that your kid's living on a video game and is addicted to that video game. Or my daughter is cutting on herself and is extraordinarily depressed. Okay, well, the cause of that is because she's been hooked on social media and its powerful persuasive design, and she's left behind her family, all the people that care about her, to go try to find herself on a screen. So I felt compelled to write about that. And to bring this knowledge. Like, it became so frustrating for me to work with these families over and over, and the same thing was happening to them. I'm like, I need to bring this information forward. I wrote a previous book, Wired Child, that was published in 2015. I probably got started, though, on this stuff in like the early 2000s, because literally I think the first thing that happened is one of the first things that happened is I had a young girl, I'd say about 11. This is back in the early 2000s, when 11-year-old girls didn't cut. They do now, but they really didn't cut. But she had got hooked on MySpace, like the first sort of one of the first social networks, and left her family behind. And pop culture said to these parents, like, that's normal. Your kid needs their online peers most of all. No, they don't. They need their family in real life. So anyway, those kind of experiences in my regular practice drove me to bring this message forward. And there is not, I've had to carve out space in my life, and that is really hard. Like a lot of sort of my life, I don't know. I've just, I've worked hard to be engaged with my family and so forth, but I've devoted myself to work at my clinical practice, but I'm tired. Do I want to write about this stuff and go study about this thing that's really secret when I get home? I'm so driven to do it. I'm tired. It's been a long day at work. But man, is this important to me down deep in my soul. Do I need to bring this message forward? Unfortunately, be inspired by families such as yourself. Thank you. And for I feel like you were working so hard to make sure that Matthew's purpose is being brought forward. And I take inspiration from you and others like you, and it drives me forward to bring this message forward.
Thank you so much. And I think that's what drew us to you, Richard, was your passion in the to advocate and increase awareness about the persuasive design. And I think even if I couldn't understand all the specifics of it, because I could understand high level, but kind of those, once you get kind of into the nuts and bolts, maybe I didn't catch all of that. I won't admit that. That's your space. But one thing I was gravitated to was your passion to educate. That I could feel that, I could sense that, and I think we feel that same way. So I think that when you're passionate about it and you want to share it and that kind of stuff, you get drawn to kind of like-minded individuals in that. Plus, like you said, they get your book, and then they can educate their those that live in their community. They can talk about the book, share the book, and that's like I think we were talking about that before. Each one teach one. And hold on, Mia's having.
I'm sorry, my computer is having
okay.
Some serious difficulties.
It's okay, Mia. I'll just add you. We don't, we'll just kind of keep going with the conversation. But yeah, I was talking to Richard about what drew us together was his passion for educating others about the persuasive design, and then being able to take those complicated items and being able to break it down to where we can maybe the layperson could understand it a little bit better. So I think he did a real good job with that at the workshop too. He explained it, and so thank you so much for that, but also thanks for being here to be able to explain it to our viewers as well.
Thank you, Todd. I just want to say it is like Silicon Valley is betting that their secret science of persuasive design is too difficult for the public to get their hands around. And honestly, it is. I'm a clinical psychologist. Like, I've studied a lot, but I had to go learn about persuasive design. Like, I hadn't heard about it. Like, they don't train us in this stuff. This is a specific science embedded within Silicon Valley. So I think what helped me get it, or what the most important thing that I need, and I try to communicate that in my book Better Than Real Life, is that that's what this science does. It is scientifically designed to have your kid experience the online world or the virtual world as better than anything that they can do in the real world, better than running around outside, better than spending time with family. And sadly, you see it if in a restaurant. Adults are affected by this too. You walk into a restaurant or an airport or a public space, so many families are all ignoring each other and all with their faces down, and are losing this sense of family and sense of community, because that device, that platform, has been designed by neuroscientists, brain scientists, AI experts to be better than anything that a person can experience in the real world. And of course, it's not for real, but that's what people feel.
Yeah, it's a it's it's a drug, like a drug. I mean, it's hitting all the different parts of the mind and interaction, the brain and everything. Because even when you were talking about the different parts of the brain being the senses and things like that, I mean, it really, like I've mentioned to you, I've retired Army military,
Thank you,
and
sir, for serving.
you're welcome. Thank you. And but one thing I realize is, with the military, we're good because we do reconnaissance and find out what's going on, and how these things, what is the enemy doing, and that kind of thing. Well, with this parents, there is nothing else to find out, because all that stuff has been figured out. There's that. I mean, and I think we talked about that a little bit, as far as restricting the screen time or restricting access on, is that the, I mean, if this is designed so thoroughly and strongly, then, restricting youth time on electronics would, I mean, how do you fight something like that? I mean, I guess I'm just kind of playing around in my head, but
No,
maybe.
that's a good question. And one of the things I do want to speak to is you said it's like a drug. Yes, when we put people in a MRI machine, a brain scan machine, and have them play video games, this is like old school, sort of like not today's like high action video games put together by AI and so forth, but the old school video games, like, it triggers dopamine, this reward based neurotransmitter in people's brains, at the same level as like a shot of amphetamine. So it is a very much a drug like effect. And, we haven't done those same experiments with respect to social media or online videos, but I believe that dopamine is just like flooding into young people's brains, and that there is one of the key reasons why they leave the real world behind. And kind of getting to that other point of it's so hard for parents to try to like compete with social media and phones and video games. Myself and a lot of other people in this space are really thinking that a key way to solve it is to push back the age when we introduce things like smartphones to kids. This whole idea, and schools are waking up to that too. I think in New York City and California and other schools around the nation, they are saying this whole idea that kids bring smartphones to school has just been silly. It really hurts them. It pulls them away from school. It distracts them. Why are we doing this? And so they're coming up with state laws to say, like, smartphones aren't going to be allowed in school. And I think we can do that at home too. And a lot of what I call the tech elite, these people at the very top of industry, do this as far as we can push back the age when a kid gets a smartphone and understand that it's not what industry promises us, that it's this magical tool that kids are going to learn from. Like, no, it's really going to throw them into this persuasive design. It's going to give a window to your kid's soul for these Silicon Valley designers and psychologists to get at your kid. Like, so let's push that away, because, and we'll just give our kid a smartphone and then try to limit it. We're just finding that that's not as effective. They're designed to be addictive. It's like handing your kid a drug and saying, don't use it so much.
Yeah, and I think even Mia can attest to this, because when the kids were even younger, when we first, especially TJ, I remember, because Matthew passed when he was young, so we didn't have as much interaction on this. But even with Matthew a little bit, when we would take any of their devices, whether it was video games, that kind of stuff, because of grades, because we tried to instill positive reward systems and things like that. So if your grades weren't up to snuff, then you lost electronic devices. We restrict time on actual actually on the internet and other applications and things like that. But you would see how they would, like tantrums and stuff like that. And we were just like, what is this? I mean, I remember when the original Nintendo came out, I was playing that, and my mom, she would say, "Hey, you got to do this." And we lived on a farm, so we'd had to cut wood and do outside stuff anyway. But still, it was still like, man, I have to do that now. And it was just kind of that, just saying something versus in the past. I mean, you might say, "Oh man, I don't feel like doing it," but you didn't have any outburst or anything. So if that happened that with the original Nintendo back in the day when I was young, imagine like now based on everything that we're starting to talk about. And then that ties in, I think even Mia, did TJ or one of the kids do a thing on video games like violent or the active shooter games? And hold on, I'm sorry.
Fortnite. Well, Matthew has a YouTube with Fortnite where they were, they could do the simulation of how to play it and things like that. And
it's like a tutorial.
I tried to, understand how he did that on the phone, but it must have been a laptop he had, gotten for Christmas. He had just gotten for Christmas, and it's just heartening because you look at when kids go outside and they play cops and robbers and then and then you think that they're playing like a Nintendo game, like something on something that boys like to do the fighting games, wrestling or something like that. So you always think they just learning, but it's you could have concerns of whether it's just the content or the people. I didn't know that they had connection with people on the other side. I didn't know that, with being online and all of that. I had no idea of that.
And then what about yeah, that's true. And I'll say this, and then yeah, Matthew had, and I've said in some of our other podcasts, he had someone that said I forgot what game it was. Maybe it was Fortnite. I can't remember, the one where they fall from the sky or something like that.
That's probably Fortnite.
Yeah, parachutes and stuff. Yes, and there was somebody from some other country. Somebody said something, and it was derogatory, and I told him, I said, I kind of did use what Liam Neeson, used. I have a certain set of skills, and I'll find. And I looked up his IP address and found he was like maybe in Italy or something like that. I didn't know anything past that, but he didn't know that, and so I said that, and I said, if you say anything derogatory, just play the game. If you say anything else, then I'll come find you. And then I asked Matthew after. I said, "Hey, did you have any problems?" And he said, "No, Dad." He said they just send the text, or they just talk about the game, like go here, do that, whatever. None of that. They don't have any side conversation. They didn't have any side conversation with them, which I thought was good. But even with that, I didn't realize it was that much interaction. But that was just, even when that happened, it was just maybe a couple months, maybe 4 months or something, 4 or 5 months before Matthew passed. When
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. But Mia, I wanted you to speak.
Can I just jump in and say, like, I talk a lot about Fortnite in Better Than Real Life, because that is a game that really uses persuasive design, which really, Todd, when you were talking about your childhood, persuasive design really came about in the 2000s. And so that has changed the media landscape. Whatever we grew up with, or the screens that we grew up with, are completely different today when you put persuasive design in there. And I talk about in my book how Fortnite, it was developed, the key leader or UX person, user experience, which is putting psychology into the game. Her name is Dr. Celia Hodent. She has a PhD in psychology, and specialized in things like child development and their brains and so forth. So she's building that. When you hear her, she's building that game to make it, in my view, better than real life. She is using using that secret science of persuasive design to take kids from the real world and put it them on a screen. And to me, that's just not okay. Parents are told, oh, it's just a video game or a fun place for your kid. No, it's Fortnite is a psychological conditioning chamber designed to take your kid and control them for profit.
Wow. Every time I hear that, I just, it's to me, it's I don't know if anybody's ever either boxed or hand-to-hand combat or anything like that. Sometimes you get hit a couple times upside the face and stuff, and you got to take a step back to kind of regroup if you can. And that's what everything you're saying to me. It's like it's not even doing that. It's like a knockout. That's what it feels like inside. It just feels, from a parent standpoint, it's a knockout. You're already on the mat, and you got to work hard to try to get yourself up off the mat with the within the 10 count, which is pretty hard after you've been kind of knocked out and stuff. So what is it? I think we kind of talked about it, but what are the things that you think we should be doing right now to, how can we help in this space? I mean, do we share? Do we
generation?
Yeah.
I think you are building community, and like a fact-based, science-based community, and a parent community, and others who care for kids. That's what we need to have. People like you come together and then bring forward like these real ideas. Because if you just live in this sort of, unfortunately, so many of the people that are out there who say we've got your kid and we're going to keep them safe are really industry funded, and they're there to sell your kids on more screens. Like, that's not what we need. What we need is parents like yourself coming together to say, what can we do? This is not right. Something's happening to our kids. So if there's groups like yourself, parents are coming together at kids' schools to say, why in God's name why are smartphones in our kids' school? Like, and the irony here, what I describe in my book, so many, what I call the tech elite parents, of these parents at the very top of the tech industry, or the very top of the PR community, or the very top of the health community. What they're doing is they're sending their kids to schools they're working hard in communities to really push this back and say, like, no, we want our kids involved in the real world. So if you actually look at the truth of what these kind of tech elite parents are doing, they're raising their own kids with very strong screen limits and pushing back the age when they get phones. As much as parents can come together in their own community and say, we want our kids to live that life too. That's, I think, because it's so hard to do this alone. Yeah. If you can find organizations, you mentioned Fair Play. They're a great place. Their Screen Time Action Network does amazing things. There's another group called Screen Strong. There's another group called Smartphone Free Childhood. It started in the UK and in England, but it's now over here. These are all organizations where parents are coming together and saying, like, oh, like, this is interesting. These are actually parents who care about us, or other community, and we're getting facts, not lied to, like these other organizations are doing. So I think that is a key step in moving forward. Let's find science. Let's find people who care about kids. And because honestly, like, I'm just trying to finish an article now, but like, so many of the people who are claiming that they're helping you are industry funded and are just interested really in deceiving you and putting your kid on a screen more.
Yeah, and Richard, for your book, no, thank you for that. And for your book, how I mean, if you don't mind me asking, how long did that take to?
Oh, this is a little embarrassing to talk about. Like, I worked so hard on this book, but like, it took years of research for me to go down and make sense of it. It took years of me staring at persuasive design to really understand, oh, what they are doing is making technology better than real life. Like, that took a long time. So I wrote an article, I think maybe the first article about persuasive design, the first sort of large media article, if not the first, one of the first, called The Tech Industry's War on Kids. I wrote that in 2018. And people reached out to me and said, you've got to write a book about this. So,
Wow,
and it didn't get published till, 2025. Like, that is been a journey for me. And I've had a lot of help along the way, a lot of people coming together to help guide my thinking about this, but that's really how long that took.
wow, and we're definitely happy that you have the book. It's out, and it's just it's on Amazon, correct? And then
Yep.
also you have I'll put your website up again, Richard Freed. .com. So your books are available on that site as well. I believe it looked like when I visited.
Yeah, it really provides links to Amazon, but yeah, Amazon's the best place to go get the book.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. And Mia, I was thinking we'd go into the couple questions that we usually ask our 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 guest. I'll bring this up. Oh wow, it's already up. Okay. uh, Richard, first question was just what was the biggest roadblock to getting started with your work?
Um, as the book talks about, this is a secret science. Like, I tried to go get people to talk about it. I tried to reach out to them, and no one will talk about it. The very few people who sort of will talk about this are people like, let's say, Sean Parker, who is the one of the maybe the first president or one of the first presidents of like Facebook before it really made it big. So he came out with making insane amounts of money. The only people that are going to talk that really, or some of the very few people that talk about this, are people who don't have to work another day in their life.
Wow.
A lot of the people, worth billions or a billion, like, we're talking just huge money. They speak the truth. It's so hard to, like, otherwise get that. I had to go down some serious rabbit holes to find out what are people doing here, and for me to understand it and how it's different in video games and social media and online video. Um, so, but once it started coming together, once that whole concept of it's the basic essence of it is they're building products that are better than real life and down deep in our DNA and our soul, that really brought it together.
Wow. No, that's good. Hold on a second. I'll pull this back up. And then, you know, it, it sounds like you went through a lot and just a lot of processing everything that you were looking at, the research, everything you were finding. Where did you find the strength to continue your work?
Um, Working with families that again didn't experience the level of tragedy that you have, but that's if you're working with families today, they are watching their girls disappear to a back room, to fall down in great loving families. They're leaving their families behind to go get sucked into this world of online peer connections and connections with strangers, and get cyberbullied, or God knows what happens to them, and they get depressed. So to see girls do that, to see boys really, they're leaving behind an interest in academics, and a lot of boys are failing to launch. My son, you'll hear in my practice, like, and when you talk about like the anger that kids have when you've asked them to step away, like, it's countless families of boys who've pushed their moms, who've put their fist through drywall, When you're trying to get them to step away from these persuasively designed dopamine dumping games, it just makes you say, I've got to bring this message forward.
Wow. That's powerful. And I think we even saw that on a couple of the different platforms like Facebook and stuff like that. People would put those videos up with the kids, or maybe even YouTube, when the kids would get mad and they, break the flat screen TV or stuff like that. And it's like, man, was it that serious?
These are formerly well-behaved kids. The industry's going to say, oh, your kid's got some sort of anger problem. These were formerly well-behaved kids. Like, I've seen kids from friends of mine that work with it will steal up to $1,500. They'll take their mom's credit card, unbeknownst to them, and go ring up $1,500 worth of stuff on Fortnite. Like, this is a kid that never would have done that and never did that kind of stuff. Technology is changing our kids.
Yes, and I think we had that once where I don't think our oldest son did really did it as like just intentional, but I think we paid for one of the skins or something like that, and then after that, then my wife's credit card was already in the system, and so then he just went and, it was already in there. So he just went and got more stuff. And
I would not put it on your son. I would put it on, that game is designed with the highest levels of psychology from worldwide experts to do just that, to change your kid's behavior in a way that serves the game, but is opposite of what he needs from his family.
Wow. Yeah, that's powerful. I every time you say that, it still gets me. So Richard, what are your plans for the future?
I'm blessed. I've been able to talk on podcasts such as yourself and other podcasts. I've been able to get out and talk, and I really hope to bring this message forward. I really enjoy getting out in front of talking with people, and I'm hoping that it's a complicated science, but my job is to make it really easily understood, and to have us have like real clear messaging about actions that we can do. Again, join communities such as yourselves and what you're providing. And that makes me feel really good. It makes me feel like I'm making a difference in families' lives.
Wow. Also, being an author, do you have, I would imagine you would have book signings, or would you be scheduling some of those? Would you have any, because we're in the Akaki area, but if you're having upcoming book signings and stuff, would they be able to get that off your site, or how would anybody?
I try to, when I have like upcoming events and things of that sort, I'll bring along books and sign them there. So that's always enjoyable to me.
Okay, so like at your speaking engagements.
Yes.
Okay.
And hopefully I'll put those online. Right now I'm set up more for like I'm doing quite a few virtual ones, and of course I can't sign. But hopefully in the future, as I have more real world stuff, I will also put that up on my site and kind of say I'll be talking here and so forth. So yeah, it's just lovely for me to get out in public and talk with parents and educators. That just to talk about this makes me happy, because like, when you go away to write and you go down that rabbit hole to search all this stuff up, it doesn't do you any good unless you can get out and bring it to people.
Yes, that's so true. And that's exactly what I was thinking. Just maybe the next time you're in the area or something, maybe we can have something small, and just say, hey, or maybe even at our local Starbucks or something, we can just grab a table, let people know that you're there. They could stop by, or as they're getting coffee, talk and share.
If I'm in Maryland, I will, and traveling, I'll definitely reach out. I'd love to work with you, your group, and that would just be amazing for me.
Yeah, Thank you. And I guess anything coming up, we'll just I'll put up your website, and they can check on your website and see kind of your upcoming events and things like that, I would imagine.
That sounds great.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. And then let's see. I think we have one last question. Did you want to ask this one, Mia, or? Oh, hold on. You were muted. Sorry.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Free, for joining us. What advice can you offer parents when communicating with their kids about electronic devices?
I think it's really important to communicate. Schools need to be doing this, but really help them understand as much as they can that their devices are designed to control them. All these devices are sold, to kind of like to kids, like, find freedom from your family. So it sort of exploits their developmental instinct to find themselves. But they need to understand these devices are designed to control them, to send them off on, for them to become a resource for industry, to like be kind of controlled by industry for profit, to live a life online, rather than to go do the things that the kid wants to do. Like, I might want to go to college. Yeah, this is going to get in the way of that. I might want to go play a sport. This is going to get in the way of that. So young people need to understand that.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you for the advice.
And then I think just kind of our final question, unless Mia has one after this. Well, Mia, do you have any questions before I ask the final question? Did you have anything?
I don't at the moment. I do appreciate you joining us today. I am reading your book. I did get it on Amazon.
Thank you, Mia. And
I'll try to keep it with me so I can.
I'm blessed to be here with you guys.
And we did. The reason why I asked about the book signing, Richard, because you were kind enough to sign the books for us at the workshop and stuff. And I think that's kind of a good, that's a nice personal touch. And I think a lot of people, if given the opportunity, would like something like that. So we've been kind of losing Mia off and on. I don't know. We're in the same house, so I don't know what's going on with the internet there. But then the final question I was going to ask you is just what would you like to what are the final words you would like to leave for for parents and just our listeners?
So much of what industry wants to do, thank you, Todd. It's a great question. So much of what industry wants to do is to disempower, to take power away from the family, to claim, to suggest to you that what your kids need when they become preteens or definitely teens is to leave their families behind, to go find their community online. That is a lie. What the science will tell us, and what our communities have told us since the beginning of time, is that even when your kid is a teenager, when they're 15, when they're 17, when they're 18, family should be number one.
I agree.
That's always been it. We should not be telling the world that what kids need most is to go find themselves online, where they're actually really controlled, and industry is just doing that, and they're going to run into people that don't have their best interests in mind. So let's get back to understanding how important family is, and don't feel bad when you're saying, let's push back the age when kids get devices. Don't feel bad as a parent when you say, no, you're not on devices today. You're hanging out with us. This is what we're doing, and have your community do that together. We're all hanging out, and kids they actually appreciate that. If what they don't want to be is the one kid sort of like off of a device. If you can do that with a community, that's great. If you can, when you're with a family, you as parents can say like, wow, we're going to work hard not to be on our devices too. And let's just go, we're hanging out for the day. And that's what our teenagers need most.
Exactly. Yeah. Wow, and they have everything on the phone now.
Oh, we lost me up because we can get her back.
Yeah, but she's right. Yeah, they have everything on their devices, but I think we used to go down to Solomon's Island. They had a naval base. There's a recreational area that was run by the Navy. And so we used to take the kids there. But when you were there, you couldn't have the electronic devices. There was no TV, there was no nothing. And then even checking your phone, that was limited. Even if you were walking on the grounds, you had to sign the agreement when you got there that you were going to limit all the electronic whatever. So I mean, they had archery and canoeing and just all that outside stuff that
That
we
was a
were
lot of
talking.
fun for them.
And I
Our
think a
kids
lot.
want that opportunity.
Yes.
If you really talk with them, they'll say like, I don't like this online addictive life that I'm being made to live. Let's give them the opportunity to have the real world lives that they really want.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I think
Mm.
go ahead, Mia. Oh, lost her again, but I think just just continuing to speak out like you're doing. I just want to thank you for being with us, Richard, but I also want to continue to encourage you because we know firsthand how hard it is in that space. A lot of times it's like you're the only one speaking a lot of times, you're the only one in the room saying that, and you're looking around, they're like, what are you talking about? And eventually you can kind of get that momentum and get them to understand. But that hard part of being the one speaking by yourself in the beginning is,
I
really
think what
hard.
we're realizing is there are a lot of people like us that are seeing what they're seeing. And I think we're looking for homes. We're looking for communities to come together to get this, to talk about our own experiences and come up with our own ideas, because what we're being force fed to us is not healthy. And
Right.
again, as I talk about my book, I talk about persuasive design, but I also talk about how so many of the organizations that are telling you we've got your back are really industry funded. They don't. Uh, um, I want Mia to be able to have the opportunity. Like we keep
Yeah.
losing her.
Hey, Mia. Well, she's upstairs. I was going to see if she connects again. I'll just have her come downstairs.
Nice meeting you, Mr.
Hey, Mia,
Bree.
you want to come down?
Computer is really.
Hey, Mia, why don't you come down? Why don't you come
But
downstairs?
before it was cut off, I said the phones have everything on it, but a book, reading from the book, is so much more better. You can learn, and understand a little bit better. But it's so much convenient to have it on the phone. So that's why we as parents too have to work.
And that's what I talk about. A book is also just a book. It doesn't
Right.
have an agenda. It's not trying to control your kid to pull them
Right.
away
Right.
from,
Exactly.
it's just sitting there as a tool for them to use. Like it doesn't have a secret wanting to control your kid and to pull them onto screens for forever and all time.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Richard, we want to thank you for being on our podcast. Let me put up your website, www.richardfried.com. You can go there to learn more about Richard Fried, Dr. Fried, and also his books that he's written. And support Richard Fried, because I mean, like I said, in this space, it's not hard. I mean, it's hard to continue. Say again, man.
Oh, learning about the Silicon Valley propaganda machine. Oh, that's yeah. So that's
but it's hard to continue in this space, like everything we do, everything it's it takes resources to continue to do this work, the research, the speaking out, going to conferences, things like that. So let's be a blessing to Richard Fried as best we can, and let's continue to follow his work as he's going, continuing his work, because this seems like this is what this how it feels to me. This is you're right in the space where you're supposed to be, Richard. So
thank you so much. I want to get Mia back here just to tell her and you, like, I'm blessed to be here. This has been I really so much appreciate the opportunity to talk with you.
She's coming down. I think she's just coming down to my office now. Like I said, we're in the same house, but it's quite interesting that the internet is acting up, but it's working fine for me. So are you coming down, Mia? Okay. She said she's coming down. coming down here. So sorry, Richard. I guess we just kind of have to. Yeah, come on over, Richard. Richard wanted to.
Oh, I'm blessed. I get to see you both in the same spot, both in the same space here.
Yeah, you want to sit on the edge?
Okay.
Oh, now I got you both. You guys look great together. Anyway. But I'm so blessed to be able to be here and have the opportunity to talk with you and your group. So you guys are doing amazing work, and I so much appreciate what you do. And Todd, I really appreciate the idea of a community and that you were mentioning. And let's bring that together. And Mia, you just both of you bring the energy to this space in a beautiful, neat sort of way. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And we'll definitely we'll still be in touch, because I mean we'll communicate offline and stuff. But we're admirers of your work, and like I said, just want to continue to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. You're definitely making a difference.
Thank you to you both.
All right. Talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.